All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Imagine hitting the absolute rock bottom of your life. You know every terrible thing happening to you is entirely your own fault. And then, well, you die. But instead of that being the end of the story, you wake up right back at the exact moment before your biggest mistake, and you are given one impossible chance to fix it all. That is the wild premise of the story we're breaking down today. It's a massive journey from absolute ruin straight to redemption. So our main guy here, Lee Ming, he actually starts off as a truly despicable character. I mean, in his first life, he was a massive gambling addict, and his debts led to an absolutely horrific tragedy. His creditors actually locked his house from the outside and burned it down, tragically killing his wife, Lin Wan, and his young daughter, Duo Duo. Decades later, even though he eventually becomes incredibly wealthy, Lee Ming dies totally alone, painfully succumbing to uremia. And the crazy thing is, he actually welcomed the pain. He believed that dying in such agony was literally the only way his wife and daughter's souls would ever find peace. But fate, it turns out, had other plans. He closes his eyes in a sterile hospital room and instantly opens them in his old, drafty, dilapidated shack, years in the past. The very second he realizes he's actually back, Lee Ming rushes to hug his wife and daughter. But here comes the heartbreaking reality check. Lin Wan violently shoves him away, shielding their little girl like a terrified lioness. You see, she doesn't see this remorseful man from the future. She just sees the abusive addict who literally slapped her yesterday for trying to stop him from gambling. It hits Lee Ming like a truck that his words mean absolutely nothing now. He has to prove he's changed through action, and he has to do it incredibly fast, because danger is already knocking. Quite literally, knocking at the door is Wang Biao. He's a ruthless local loan shark, and he's brought his thugs with him. He demands a staggering gambling debt of $5,000, and it's due in exactly 3 days. And if Lee Ming can't pay it, well, Wang Biao threatens to take Lin Wan away to work in his shady club. So the stakes are instantly life or death. Lee Ming shields his wife and, with complete confidence, promises to pay back the $5,000 plus an extra $1,000 in interest within those 3 days.
Now you might be wondering, how does a broke gambler magically get that kind of cash? Well, he leverages his knowledge from the future. He remembers this highly lucrative spot up in the treacherous mountains where rare, 50-year-old wild Lingzi mushrooms grow. He does this terrifying climb, nearly falls to his death, gets completely cut up, but he manages to harvest them and sells them in town for a massive $4,000. But wait, that's still not $6,000, right? So here is the genius part. When the loan shark returns, Lee Ming doesn't just hand over a pile of cash. Instead, he pulls out a secret notebook that details every single cheating trick and scam Wang Biao ran in his casino, knowledge Lee Ming gathered in his wealthy future life. With the village head there as a witness and the police already on their way, the thug gets dragged straight to jail. Immediate threat completely neutralized.
But surviving thugs is just part one. That very same night, his daughter Duo Duo spikes a terrifying fever of 40 degrees Celsius. That's over 104 degrees Fahrenheit. They live out in a remote village, and the closest clinic is 10 miles away in town. Without even a second thought, Lee Ming straps his daughter to his back and just sprints through these pitch-black, jagged mountain paths. He trips, he's bleeding, his feet are totally blistered, but he absolutely refuses to stop until he kicks open that clinic door right as they're about to close. He stays glued to her side the entire night, just holding her freezing hands trying to warm them up. When his wife, Lin Wan, finally gets to the clinic the next morning, after walking the whole night herself, she sees a man who has literally bled to save their child. As they're walking back home, she whispers a super simple phrase, "Thank you." Guys, this is the very first time in their 3 years of marriage she has ever thanked him. It is this huge moment. The first real crack in the wall of fear she's had to keep up for so long. Okay, so his family is safe for the moment. Now, Lee Ming pivots to actually securing their future. He teams up with his super energetic childhood friend Zhao Qiang. Relying on what he knows about future economic trends, they start buying up local poultry, wild mushrooms, and vegetables from the village. The villagers are super skeptical at first, but Lee Ming pays cash up front. Then they transport all of it to the city to sell to restaurants at a huge premium. They are essentially arbitraging the gap between this isolated little village and the booming city market. But, as always, success breeds enemies. This local transport thug named Sun De Wang controls the routes and violently destroys an entire shipment of Lee Ming's goods. But instead of backing down, Lee Ming gets strategic. He brilliantly organizes an alliance of all the exploited local merchants, maps out a safe, alternative route, and just completely cuts off the thug's supply chain. Boom! Then, to really bulletproof his whole operation, he goes straight to a strict government factory manager, Manager Chen, offering a highly reliable, high-quality supply chain, and he totally nails it, securing a massive one-year contract with 3 months paid entirely in advance. With his first real windfall, Li Ming doesn't just put it all back into the business. He takes Lin Wan into the city and buys them a beautiful, spacious home, just outright. But the absolute emotional core of this part of the story happens back in the village's ancestral hall. Right in front of the entire community, Li Ming drops down on one knee. He publicly apologizes for the horrific way he trapped Lin Wan into marriage and for all the years of abuse. He gives her these beautiful silver bracelets and asks for a real, genuine chance to be her husband. Overwhelmed, she finally says yes.
Act 2. The Clothing Empire Wars.
Now that the family is fully united, Li Ming sets his sights way higher, transitioning out of agriculture and straight into the booming clothing industry. He uses his future knowledge to draft up clothing designs that are literally years ahead of current trends. They open up a factory and the clothes just sell out instantly. But guess who's back? Sun Da Wang, the transport thug. He pays off workers to steal Li Ming's designs, produces these cheap, poorly stitched knockoffs, and floods the market, completely trashing Li Ming's reputation. But Li Ming doesn't panic. He refuses to race to the bottom. Instead, he elevates everything. He launches a premium, high-end brand named Wandua, which is actually a super sweet combination of his wife and daughter's names.
He still has to deal with Sun Da Wang, though. Li Ming quickly figures out he's got a mole in his factory, so he does something absolutely brilliant. He locks the real designs in a safe, and then deliberately leaves out these incredibly beautiful but structurally flawed fake blueprints. The corrupt workers steal them, Sun Da Wang mass produces them, and the second customers actually put the clothes on, the seams just burst and the garments completely fall apart. The massive wave of angry returns and subsequent government inspections completely bankrupts Sun Da Wang's factory, sending the thug to jail for good. Checkmate. But just as the Wandu brand is dominating the market, a brand new threat pops up: the media. Reporters start digging into Lin Ming's dark past. They show up at his factory to expose him as this former abuser and gambler. It's an absolute PR nightmare. But right as the reporters are swarming him, Lin Wan steps out. And she doesn't deny the past. Instead, she fiercely defends the man he is today, a devoted father, a caring husband, and a deeply ethical boss. Her impassioned defense is a total game changer. It completely flips the narrative. This intended hit piece turns into a massive, inspiring human interest story, and Wandu's popularity skyrockets across the entire country.
So now, the business is pulling in millions. But Li Ming's priorities are incredibly grounded. When it's time for his daughter to enter elementary school, they find out the best schools in the city are completely booked up. So what does a loving father with immense wealth do in this situation? He goes straight down to the city's education bureau and casually drops a $500,000 check to build an entirely new, state-of-the-art Hope Elementary School. This ensures not just his daughter, but thousands of underprivileged kids are getting a top-tier education.
Act 3. A Fight for Survival.
Just as Li Ming is building this incredible empire of wealth and happiness, his past life catches up to him in the most terrifying way imaginable. He starts getting dizzy spells. He's hit with extreme fatigue. And then one day, he just collapses right in his office. They rush him to the hospital, and the truth comes out. His kidneys are rapidly failing from overwork. The anemia that killed him in his first life is back. The doctor gives him less than 2 years to live unless he gets a kidney transplant. At first, Li Ming tries to keep it a secret, working even harder just to build this massive financial nest egg for his family before he's gone.
But of course, Lin Wan finds out. And guys, this brings us to one of the most powerful moments in the whole story. Think back to that woman who shoved him away in pure terror at the very beginning. Now she is furiously demanding that he stop working. She goes and gets tested, finds out she's a perfect match, and insists on donating her own kidney to save his life. She literally looks at him and says, "To hell with the company." But Li Ming absolutely refuses to risk her life, creating this incredibly agonizing standoff between a husband and wife who now just completely, unconditionally love each other. Thankfully, the universe decides to reward his total transformation. Right in the middle of their argument, the doctor interrupts with an absolute miracle. A perfect organ match has just become available from a tragic car accident victim who happened to be an organ donor. The surgery goes smoothly, it's a total success. Surviving this near-death experience fundamentally shifts everything for Li Ming. He realizes that wealth and power are just illusions. Family and the impact you leave behind are literally the only things that matter.
The ultimate legacy.
Following his recovery, Li Ming makes a completely shocking decision. He steps down from his massive corporate empire so he can focus entirely on giving back. Remembering how Lingguan originally came to their tiny, impoverished village as a teacher, the two of them decide to create the Wando Charity Foundation. And they don't start small. They seed it with a massive initial capital of 2 million. Their sole, unwavering mission is to find young girls in remote, mountainous regions who are being denied an education because of poverty and fully fund their schooling from elementary all the way through university.
And the scale of this over the next 10 years is just staggering. They start with an initial batch of 50 girls, then it scales up to 5,000, and ultimately they end up supporting over 15,000 young women. It's incredible. Li Ming completely transforms his identity, from the absolute most hated gambler in a tiny village into one of the country's most beloved and respected philanthropists. Fast forward a decade later, and his daughter Duodo is accepted into the top university in Beijing. As Li Ming and Lin Wan are settling into this peaceful, quiet life, they get a visitor. It's Xiaofeng. She was actually one of the very first 50 girls they helped all those years ago. And now, she's grown up, she's become a village teacher herself, and she's joining the foundation to help the next generation. It's this beautiful, unbroken chain of kindness. And to guarantee this work never stops, Li Ming and Lin Wan end up signing over the vast majority of their corporate shares straight to the charity.
By saving thousands upon thousands of lives, Li Ming finally feels like he has truly atoned for the lives he destroyed in his past. He didn't just build a business empire, he built an empire of forgiveness. And it leaves us with such a fascinating thought to wrap up on. If you were given a second chance, how would you spend it? Would it be for wealth, or would it be for redemption? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you on the next one.